So this morning, me and Zena are out planting the garden. We're trying to train our dogs to understand where the garden rows are so they're not walking all over it. And so far, she's doing pretty good. But today, I'm finishing up some inner planting in between these garden rows before I go in and fix lunch for the kids.
Today we have been out playing in the garden, planting plants, and we are inside cleaning up a little bit and cooking lunch. Tucker wanted oodles and noodles, so we are about to try oodles and noodles recipe. I'm gonna try to mimic the seasoning pack of oodles and noodles. It's the key of getting off a heavily processed food, is trying to find recipes that taste similar. My kids have had a hard time adjusting to switching away from processed foods, but because they have a different taste to them, there's no taste enhancers. It's a acquired taste. You have to learn to love it.
Life crisis,
if you ask my kids. But anyway, so we're gonna get right to it. Get this water boiling.
Yeah.
My stove is nasty from cooking hamburgers. And if you see these bottles in the background of our videos, these are water kefir ferments. So a lot of people use these for homemade beer. We don't drink, so we don't make homemade beer. But just to clear that up, this is water kefir, and I might do a whole video on water kefir, but it's a ferment. It makes a bubbly soda type water. It's delicious. Okay, so now we're going to make the seasoning packet. So you need, I'm going to do chicken. So you need chicken bouillon, onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper, or probably, I'm actually going to make this in a mason jar, so I can keep it up in the cabinet. Okay, so it calls for 1 tablespoon. So it calls for 1 tablespoon of I'm going to double this recipe because this is a pretty big jar. 2 tablespoons of chicken bouillon. 1 tablespoon, well, I'm doubling it, so 2 tablespoons of onion powder. 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. Whoops, made a mess. 2 tablespoons maybe. Doesn't like me. That's fine. I don't like it either. I did 1 tablespoon of black pepper. I'm going to stir that up. And it says salt to taste. I know roughly what a ramen noodle packet tastes like, because if you're a 90s kid, you used to lick your finger and stick it in there. You want this big of a coffee? Okay, it needs a little bit more salt. Okay, so for me personally, I would do, so if you're doubling the recipe, I would do 3 tablespoons of chicken bouillon, just to give it that chicken flavor, because that onion powder kind of drowns out the chicken flavor. but pretty good. The key's going to be getting it past the kids' taste test. And so for the pasta, I'm just using some thin spaghetti noodles. I like to make all of my own pasta, but if I can find a good deal on clean ingredient pasta or organic, then I will go ahead and buy a couple boxes of it just to have on hand. Because some days you're just busy and you don't feel like making noodles, or you're out. So, like as of right now, I think we're out of noodles, so we're going to be having a noodle day before long.
This is the not so glamorous side of making every single meal as clean as possible and having to cook 3 meals a day is cleaning the kitchen. It is a never-ending task around here, but we make the best of it.
Rainy day to get some stuff done in here. I want to be outside working.
Let's make it work. We can't.
I said this in my last video. A lot of the times I clean my pans and season them right on top of the stove. I don't go through the motions of baking them and all that because I use them so often that would be daunting. A lot of times I just put them in the oven when they're good and hot and just let them sit, but for the most part I don't go through the whole process of baking the cast iron skillets every single day after I wash them, and they work perfect for me. Okay, so it's the next day. Robert decided to go out and start clearing all of these trees in our front yard to get some sunlight down on the garden. And every single tree that he cut today just about got wound up together. They were all connected through old grapevines that had been here forever.
Come on, let loose, you booger.
Me and Tucker stood back watching this for several minutes. Robert's now cutting the last tree that everything's hung up against. And as he pulls that saw out, he whacks his knee, and it looks like the trees are still stuck in the vines. If the audio was on, you could hear the vines popping. You can actually see them swaying back and forth in the video there. And eventually all of these trees fall down at one time. Yeah, there they go. So we was able to get all that and keep the power lines intact, which is what stressed me out more than anything. And so Robert's getting the last of those trees he had planned on cutting down today down, and he's going to start cutting everything up and moving it. But he's gotten quite a bit done. We still have a lot of work left to do on this homestead. I know this video has been a little scattered and all over the place, but life's a little hectic and we're just squeezing everything in where we can. But we hope you've enjoyed this video, and we will see you guys next week.